Okay, so we are going to make a quick project. When I was younger, we used to have these things where you'd have a keyboard version of someone where whatever key you'd put on the keyboard, they would say something. So I thought we could make a fun version of this in Scratch. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to need a background to put over our work area here. So we're going to go into Google Images and we are going to search for an image of someone that we can use to make this talking keyboard. And here's a good person. So we are going to grab this picture here of our friend and we're going to save it somewhere on the desktop. Now I'm working on a Mac, you might be working on a PC, or you might be working on a Chromebook. It shouldn't matter. The bottom line is you just want to save the image, then we go back into Scratch. Alright, so we have to put the image on the background. So if you've never done this before, I'll move my mouse to make it active. We're working over down in this area right down here. And if we click on choose background, we actually want to use the one that's the folder pointing up, and we want to upload the backdrop from a file. So I click on that, and then I point to the image that I have saved that we're going to use for this project. So double click on it, and it will upload my image and place this on the stage. Now, in terms of sprites, we're going to need an active sprite. I don't know that this little Scratch guy is who we want to use for this, so I'm actually going to go ahead and delete him off of the stage. But we are going to need a sprite that we can attach all our code to, and I'm sure there's a million different ways to do this, but the easiest thing for me is if I click right here on the choose sprite from library, I'll click on that and I'm just going to pick a little circle or some kind of little image, something basic that I can put in front of Donald, and this will be what I'll attach all my code to. So for now, we'll just stick with this ball. I'll hit OK, and perfect. And I'll just drag this ball off. Actually, leave it off to the side here. You can be very creative with what you do with this. I'm just picking something very quickly as an example to attach all our code to. Okay, very good. So essentially what we want to do is we're going to start by making it so that when we hit a key, and by default it's the keyboard, and when we push that keyboard, we want our friend to say something. Okay, so now what we need is we need a sound effect. So I've actually gone into YouTube, and I have found this video that is Donald Trump's sound effects. And if I play the video, ka-ching, 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 boom, bing, bing, bing. So someone has taken the time to put together a group of sound effects from our friend the Donald, and I'm basically going to go in and record each of those using the Scratch sound editor. So getting back here, we are going to begin the process of making things happen on a button click. So in order to do that, here's all our different scripts right here in the middle. If we click on Events under Scripts, one of the events that we can do is when keyboard is pressed, or when Spacebar is pressed. So we want to take this event and we want to move it over here into our project page. Okay, very good. So now we have something when I push the spacebar, something happens. So for the sake of this project, I'm going to make two things happen. And the first thing we want to make happen is I'm actually going to do, we'll do a little speech bubble. So we'll put this circle over Donald's mouth, and you may find that you want to make your own custom sprite, something a little bit smaller, a little less obtrusive. But again, for efficiency's sake, we're just going to use this sprite here. So I have, when the spacebar is pressed, something happens. So when I push the spacebar, back under my scripts, I want to hear something and I want to see something. So we're going to use the looks category and we're going to use the sound category. So we'll start with looks. So when spacebar is pressed, Donald Trump is going to say hello. Okay, so for now, when I come over here and I look at my project and I hit the spacebar, I'm hitting the spacebar, he's saying hello. Okay, the little green flag here starts your project. Spacebar, he says hello. I hit the red stop sign to then stop my project. Okay, so at this point, we now have one action happening, but we really want two actions happening. And the sound one is going to be a little bit more involved. So at this point, we want to go back over to our scripts page, and we want to click on sound. So again, when the space bar is pressed, he's gonna say hello, and then we want a sound to happen. So we do play sound. Now there are a bunch of built-in sounds, and we can accept the defaults, but we're gonna actually change these variables and change these parameters of our project page. But just to test out what it looks like, again, we'll activate our project and we'll make sure the sound's turned up, and I hit the space bar. You notice every time I hit the space bar, it makes that pop sound, which is great. That's not really what we want our friend Donald to say. So if I go onto the sound page over here and I have a drop down under my sound script, but the only thing I have loaded right now is the pop. So in order to make my own sounds or to bring in other sounds, up here I need to go from scripts over to the sounds tab. So now at the sounds tab, I notice I only have one sound, and it's the pop. Now I can bring in sounds. I can upload them from the internet. I can bring them in from the library. Or what I want to do right now is I want to actually record a new sound. So I click on the little microphone button, and you notice it says recording one. Now I've got a lot of different options for doing this. I could actually say the thing myself. So if I hit record, I could then talk, and I could do my Donald Trump voice or whatever other sound I kind of want to make, and I can generate that sound with my own voice. But the technique that we're working on today is actually incorporating sound from another program. So I'm going to switch back over once I hit the record button to my YouTube tab, and I'm going to record one of the Donald Trump sounds. So I'm going to hit record. It's okay if you have a little bit of, kind of blank time beforehand, because there's no way you're going to be able to pull it off quickly. The good thing is, under the sound recorder, there's an editor. So I hit the record button, and now I move over to Donald Trump's sound effect, and I'm going to hit play. Okay, and it sounds like I recorded a couple of them there. And you notice here's my waveform, and this is going to be that area before I hit play. So I'm going to highlight the area before I hit play on my YouTube video, because I don't want that. That's going to sound not like something that I want. That's going to sound actually like this. Button. All right, and clearly that's not what I want, because frankly, that's not the portion of the sound that is of any value to me. So I can just go to edit, and I can hit cut. And I can highlight the next group and see what that sounds like. And now I move over to, which is not actually what I want either. So I can highlight that and hit cut. What I'm trying to do is isolate the Donald Trump sound. So I think this might be what we're looking for. Effect. Oh, clearly not. Let's try this one. And I'm going to hit play. Still missing it. Maybe it's this. There we go. That's the sound that we want. So I know everything before here. I can highlight and I can cut. So I go over to edit and I cut it. And I just want this portion of the waveform. So I need to also get rid of everything after this. So I highlight everything after this and I cut it. And for good measure, I'm going to rename my sound, and we'll just call this Trump 1, just to make it easy. So again, my sound sounds like this. And maybe I want to tighten it up just a little bit more by getting rid of this blank space in the beginning a little bit. So I have my sound now. And when I go back over to my script, I can see that I have an option, once I get in here, to go to play sound. Not only do I have pop, but if I hit the drag down, now I have Trump. So if I hit the space bar under my project, it now says hello, and it makes my whatever you want to call that sound effect. So I actually want it to say what it sounds like, that whoa, whoa, whoa. And so if I now go back over to my project window, I have it. So when I hit the space bar, he says, well, what does he say? Or whatever that was that he said. All right, and now I've established that I have one sound for Donald Trump. And I can go back and repeat that with as many sounds as I want to do. Only now, instead of spacebar the next time through when I go to do this, I can pick any of the keys on the keyboard.